And welcome to this episode of Roadside Oddities. Today we're at Setting Bowl Falls, which is a spring-fed oasis, a series of waterfalls. It's about 40 miles or so from Carlsbad, New Mexico. It probably took about an hour to get out there. The roads are paved, but there's a lot of twists and turns, and it just takes a while to get out to this place, and there's not much else out there. It's in the Lincoln National Forest, but it's actually a pretty drive to get out there. To get the actual falls itself, you pull into a picnic area, which is pretty well established, and plenty of parking, bathrooms, water refill, all the bells and whistles. This is managed by the Forest Service. There is a fee to enter, a self-pay fee, or if you have the one of the yearly America the Beautiful passes from the National Park Service, you can use that as well too. But this right here is the falls. It's pretty easy to get back to. It's a paved walkway, so it's not real challenging at all. And then there's kind of the overview, and you can kind of walk down. I did read online you can get in the water if you want to, and supposedly there's some pools up top that you can go to. And so that's really about it as far as the actual waterfalls. And I probably should have called it a day at this point. This is walking back to the parking lot to the car. As you can see, it's real paved. There's not really any incline. So it's pretty accessible for really anybody that wants to get into it. And there's one of the picnic areas off to the left there. But anyway, so it was about a 10-minute walk back there. And I started thinking about it. I was like, well, there are trails that go up to the top. It would be kind of neat to see what the pools look like. And right about up here, as soon as I got back kind of in the main area, the old trail sign, I took the bait. And looking back, I probably should have just gone to the car and moved on and said that was a pretty waterfall. But I didn't. So I started following the trail to the top of this. It's not really necessarily a mountain, maybe a vista or a hill or something like that. But as you can see, when it started out, it was pretty developed. There was logs and everything like that. And so I was pretty excited to see kind of what the top of it would look like. Kind of stepping around here, and it was really neat. You could see down into the little valley canyon there once you got up top, and I think I got a picture to it or that I show of how it looked when you get up there. As you can tell, it's pretty well maintained. There's an overview, but it is somewhat of an elevation that you are climbing, and there is hiking involved. When I set out on this, I didn't have a full water pack. I just had a bottle or two, and didn't have poles or anything with me as well, so I wasn't really planning on any strenuous hikes, but I took the bait. So anyway, up towards the top, there is trail markings, but it's kind of a complex trail system, really, when you look at a map, which I did later on, as far as the actual overview. There's 20 some miles, I believe, you can make on an entire loop. There's just a lot of loops that hook around it, which, maybe in the fall it would be kind of neat to head out there this spring. It was probably pushing about 90 degrees at this point. It was around 11. There wasn't really anybody else out there, and you can see right there how steep it is, but there were some folks out there when I first got there, and then they departed, and the entire time I was out there was nobody else out there in the parking lot. So I don't know. I'm not sure how popular this gets. It is a ways out there. You definitely have to make time to go. You're looking at about an hour drive out there. So I'm sure you could probably go see Carlsbad Cavern with it as well, too. kind of make a couple different stops. But I would say it's worth it to go see it just because it is so pretty whenever you see the desert oasis. And then you see this waterfall coming out of there. So, and we have pretty much made it to the top here, huffing and puffing, but I would say probably about 15 minutes maybe or so to get the top. I don't think it was all that, it didn't take that long, but it definitely was an elevation. So, but when I got up to the top, it's a little confusing because it's pretty flat up there, and there's more trails that break off and go different ways. And I was kind of really looking forward to seeing the water pools, about where those were at, kind of where it starts the spring at. But when I got up there, there were signs close to the water that indicated they did not want you to go past that certain point. I think that was one of them right there. So I'm not sure if things have changed or if it was just in a different area, but it appeared they didn't want people walking over to the water pools up top there. So, and then so at this point it was kind of, I didn't know, I could still hear the water. I didn't know if I should keep walking around or just kind of follow the trail farther to see maybe if it did loop around into some other area. As you can tell, it was pretty flat. It wasn't really all that challenging, which was kind of nice. So other than it was just getting pretty hot because you're out, in the desert. And there were still some established stairs and some different things like that. And the rocks they really weren't all that bad compared to other places. And so here's kind of more of the trail. So I just kind of was following this trail around. And as you can see, it's got steps that have been made and everything like that. So not too crazy. And it was really pretty up there too. So I just kept kind of following the main trail. And every once in a while you could hear the spring water running, other times you couldn't. So I believe the water is running over there in that crevice over there. Couldn't quite see it. And again, was trying to respect the land and the signs, so didn't necessarily just want to go walking through everything. I'm not real sure. I'll have to look into that to see kind of what the deal is with it comes to pools at the top. So I've read online that you can get in them or you can get near them, but the signs that I saw up there indicated differently. So it's possible some things have changed, but it was pretty for a desert landscape, and that's the way we'll come back down. We're going to go just a little farther. You can see up there, it is really pretty. But we'll go up a little farther across. I think it looks like a man-made dam, or I'm not sure if it's man-made or a rock formation or what it is. But you can tell once you kind of get up closer to it. It's unique. So, and it was able to get across it with not too much problem. And it was kind of neat, being the only one out in that area. This is the dam or water slide or rock formation. I think this was natural, but that little path I was walking along definitely was not. It looked like there was concrete and those type of things that have been added into it. So, but it was kind of neat exploring around up there. It was getting pretty hot. And so the path just keeps going. And I think I believe I've mentioned earlier that I think it's about 20 some miles, like the full length around these different trails. And at this point, it's still pretty and it's not too bad. But the farther I walked, the taller the grass got, or the vegetation to the side of the trail. And when I had been down at the trailhead, there were lots of warning signs about rattlesnakes and those type of things. So I decided to turn around, plus just the water and not knowing exactly where we were going to be going with that much heat. So I didn't go real far back into this tall vegetation. You can see it's just right there. That would be the last thing I wanted to have to deal with, was a rattlesnake bite, virtually in the middle of nowhere. So I started heading back and decided to go kind of back the route that looped around the park entrance, and we'll go back kind of through some brush, kind of moving along here. So I did not see, I don't believe I saw any animals, any type of animals. I might have seen a lizard or two when I was walking around up there the entire time, but I did not see any other type of animals at all. So, and then here's the slanted rock here. I'm going back across that. And there was quite a bit of heat coming up from that rock surface, and you could hear the spring running, so it was near somewhere. And then we're kind of back up on that flat top again, and like I said, this time we're going to take a trail that kind of loops back down around the picnic parking area. And right here is where you kind of start making that loop around. The signs, I believe it was after 4 o'clock, they didn't want you to start walking on the trail. So, and basically this turned into a series of switchbacks. It was really pretty. It was really quiet. You could see down the valley or the canyon area. The top part right here, as you can see, really wasn't all that bad as far as the trail goes. Pretty smooth, not a lot of elevation. It started to change though once you got back into the switchbacks, where the rocks kind of started back up again. And I would say probably at this point, probably been hiking for about 45 minutes or so since I saw the original sign. It was probably about an hour to 10 minutes, and I'm going to say probably went about maybe a mile to a mile and a half. So I don't think it was anywhere near 2 miles. Certainly felt like it though with the heat and some of the earlier steps and the rock conditions coming down. But overall, it was really pretty, and kind of interested to map out some longer hikes and just be a little bit more prepared for them if possible. Again though, the location is just so remote to get out there to it, and I believe I saw a sign that said no overnight camping in that actual area. They do have gates and everything like that, so I believe it closes at some point. I think it's like 5 or something like that, 4 or 5. So that's the only downfall too, is you would probably really need to plan it out. So and probably look a little bit more about the Lincoln National Forest. And this was pretty much the trail down. Really not too bad at this point. And it was just really pretty. You can kind of see the parking lot down there. That's kind of in the middle down there. And like I said, it's really developed picnic area, bathrooms, water refill stations, some signage on some information on the area, and a lot of picnic tables and covers on the picnic tables. So that was it was actually a really nice area down there. So, and it's just kind of weird because you're just driving and driving and driving. It's just real remote. There's some farmhouses, there are some free range cattle, and it's just kind of, then you just kind of pull up to the oasis in the desert. And at this point, we were about down, and then my friends, the rocks, show up on the trail, and I am not a fan of rocks on the trail, which, starting to realize in the Southwest, there is a lot of rocks on trails. Careful navigation I have here, the very slow navigation, I would say. But this really was an unexpected hike. Like I said at the beginning, I could have just gone out and stayed on the paved path and seen the falls, probably been content, but curiosity got the best of me, and just kind of wanted to go out and see it a little bit more. So, but I'm glad I did turn around when I did. Was certainly not prepared for a much longer hike in that tall grass. You just never know out there what could be waiting for you. So this goes back to basically the parking lot, and there's some pictures of the trailhead, and are the maps and everything around it at the trailhead, which pretty helpful to kind of give you an overview. As you can see, there's just nothing really out there. But I think as far as taking a family, I think, going out to see the falls would probably be best. I don't know about this hiking part, if it would be enjoyable or not. Probably not going up this way. Of course, the other way too, with all the logs and everything like that, wasn't much easier. And about this point, we are ready to hit the water station. So definitely glad that was located down there. It was very helpful. Me just slowly navigating the rest of the terrain here. Still really pretty and hot. And here's one of the signs that just kind of shows more about the trails and everything like that. This is literally at the bottom. There's not much left as far as to finish walking this off. It just kind of shows the distances and everything. I really enjoyed reading those distances. And then here's just kind of final home stretch. But I don't know if I'd go back to see the falls exactly, but it would be interesting to do some hiking out in this area. But yeah, it was a quick little couple hours out there. And any feedback's appreciated on the videos. Always looking for feedback on these. Appreciate it.